We're going to do a quick little video here. I just recently completed this series of photos, and we're going to take a quick tour through what we got. I especially like this image. So, I have to forgive the mess. Well, it's always a mess down here. Anyway, never mind. We're going to be talking about this series of images. This is my kind of an accidental discovery. We were on our way to the grocery store to find some food since we were going to the Grand Sand Dunes National Park, and when I got there, we found out that was the first night the hotel had been open for this season, and the restaurant and the convenience store were not open, so there was no food to be had. So we had to, the next day we had to make a run into the nearest town and spotted out of the corner of my eye some parked locomotives sitting in a train yard. This is not a museum. These are sitting on the edge of an active yard. And I just had to stop and take a picture because I love these type of locomotives. I mean, when I was a little kid, my very first train set that I got one Christmas, was spectacular for me. And it had the silver Santa Fe Chief locomotive like this as the engine in it. And I've just always been attracted to the F7s and the E7s. And there, as you can see here, there's even a B unit in the back of this picture. So, having an opportunity to photograph, if you will, in the wild, these trains was definitely a bucket list item I didn't know I had. At any rate, the opportunity came along. It was broad daylight, harsh sunshine. The clouds and the sky were pretty much the same tonal quality. It was very difficult to bring them up. For these photos, it was instantly apparent that I needed to shoot these in black and white. And I needed the polarizer because the glare on the paint and the glass was atrocious. And it also had the added effect of getting some separation in the clouds. In a moment, I'll show you the editing that I did on the computer to bring these up, make them even more so, but it is truly amazing the tonal qualities and shade, the range of the Pentax Monochrome camera. And if you can expose the headlight or the highlight correctly, you can pretty much always bring out the shadow without a lot of effort. It is, I'm in love with the camera. I take way too many black and white pictures now. Well, maybe not enough, I don't know. I use the color one too. I like photography and I like taking pictures, and it's really wonderful to have equipment in my life right now that is worth the effort. I've spent a lot of years making do between basically 1997 and 2015. I can't remember exactly. I've just been making do with whatever I could get away with as far as camera equipment and my budget. Raising kids, building a house, the whole life thing. Try not to get into it too deep, but I got out of the photo lab business when I used to do maintenance and repair for very large commercial photo labs where I've got 4x8 prints hanging in my office. I should have showed you. Maybe I will, and someday I will. Anyway, for big 4-foot by 8-foot prints that were made at the same lab that I maintained the equipment. I helped with the chemistry. I worked on all the electronics. I worked on all the plumbing. I worked on all the networking. Involved with all of it in early ages of digital imaging. And I remember getting a Targa 16 graphics card. Yeah, 16. Anyway, and that was in an XT environment for IBM computers, if you even know any of that stuff. That was many decades ago, and I was playing with digital imaging then. And even in these little teeny tiny 100K, 200K digital files, it took hours to change anything, and it looked so crappy because the pixels were like that big. Anyway, but I've been around it a lot. I remember meeting the people that founded Pixar when they were just making shorts, and hardly anybody but the art crowd got to see them because they were new. Anyway, back to the story at hand. I have a deep affinity for these locomotives for the reasons I stated. Having an opportunity to photograph them was just awesome. Now, for these images, this is a sample print that I made so I can abuse it and handle it. I'm getting ready for a small photo craft show kind of thing that's coming up. I'm recently joined a group called Art on the Go, and they sponsor a cafe walk once a month, second Saturday of the month in Casper, and I'm going to be participating in one of their events along with another artist. So he's done it many times, and this is my first, so he's my teacher, if you will. I hope he's up for the game. Anyway, I'm not here to compete. I did this for myself, and I'm wanting to share it with other people. I would like other people to see these images. If you have the passions for these tonal relationships and if you're aware of what zone system is and you're into photography, I want you to own one of these prints. I really do. I do all of this. It's my camera, it's my time, it's the software I bought after going through many kinds of software, and I've used Photoshop and Lightroom and all of those. Right now I'm using DxO's Photolab 9.0. I'm really contemplating the upgrade for my one of their modules. It does black and white stuff really well. They just released version 9 of it, and there's some interesting things in there that's probably going to be very necessary for when I do some more astrophotography later this year. I've got some projects I'm working on, and again, I'm doing them for me. I'm hoping that I can share them with people, and I'm hoping that those people will see this stuff and know the work that it takes, and they're going to want to participate. They're going to want to own. They're going to want to be sponsors so that I can do more, because right now I work a lot and commute a lot more, it seems like, and my life is very full of things that don't feed my soul, and this does. So, if you want to help me, I would greatly appreciate your liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, interacting, going to my website. I'll be getting these up very shortly, maybe by the time this video hits, I don't know. On my website, these are going to be in my regular series prints, and they'll be offered in 2 or 3 sizes. And I apologize for my website. I get 15-20 minutes here and there, and I'm kind of experimenting with listing items. Certainly looking for comments and anything that people might want to suggest that I do, or changes that they think I should make. But at any rate, I do also believe that art is for everyone, and I do have my limited series images, and they are some great images. I'm not knocking them at all. The qualities, technical qualities, compositional qualities, art qualities are superior to just a snapshot and anything else that's out there, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm probably going too far with that, but they're meant for people that really look at this work and realize there's more out there, and it's just me getting there that's not making it possible for me to have those images to share. So if they would like to really sponsor my work, buy one of the limited edition prints. I mean, there are only going to be 200 of them. I got certificates that I put out with them. I'm registering every print. I'm keeping a log, of who owns them, and they're meant for people that seriously want to collect and seriously want to support my channel. These prints are meant for people who want to have beautiful images that mean something to them in their homes. And as Ansel Adams says, there's 2 people in every image, the photographer and the viewer, and I hope you see yourselves in some of my work. And anyway, let's get into this. So this is Epson etching paper, legacy etching paper. I showed in the video earlier my printing setup. with the Epson system, they have 4 different colors of black, essentially, light gray, gray, a matte black, and a photo black. And as you can tell, the image on this stuff, the way it comes across, it is fantastic. The detail is so sharp. I'll show you how sharp it is because I have a big print around the corner. Now, for those that would like to sponsor me, I'd love to buy a bigger printer. Oh, but this is what I can afford right now, so I'm limited to 17 inches in width. We work on this and build this together. The print sizes will grow. I guarantee it, because I love making big prints. There's nothing more satisfying to me in the world than covering a wall with a single image, life size, so that you can just get immersed in the detail and the presence. I wished I could do it more. Anyway, here we go. Well, welcome to my creative workspace, I guess you would say. Sitting in front of my computer with all of my life exposed right here. I'm going to be talking about where these images started from and where I brought them to. Here's an example of where I started from. This is the RAW file. Excuse me, this is the JPEG file. It's very difficult to find a RAW black and white image editor. Most image editors look at the monochrome information in a RAW file and consider it corrupt. So we'll be working from the JPEG. The RAW file is here. At any rate, this is what we started out with. I used the polarizer to bring some contrast to the clouds and to remove as much glare as I could. Now, as you can tell from the shadow that's mostly right behind this is midday, full sun glare. And not the best time of day probably for this, but it certainly is working for these images the way I wanted them to appear at any rate. I did specifically choose to use the monochrome camera. I didn't actually take any color pictures when I was there. And this is where we started from. And through the magics of editing, that's what I ended up with. Now, I'm not going to go into a full tutorial about what I changed with this image. I apologize for a little bit of light glare in the picture, but as you can see across the bottom there are the full series of images. Some of these were not as good as others. Obviously, those are the ones that are edited. But that's the entire set of pictures I took at that location. So, you know, I should take more pictures. It felt done with what I took, and this is art. The feeling is important. So, as I said, I took these pictures and it felt like it was done. And again, you know, it was full glare sunshine. I was doing the best I can with the polarizer. You can see there's no glass glare there, but there's a little glass there, and there's glass glare back here. With retouching through the software here, and I'm using DxO Photolab 9. That's what we got. It's amazing what the shadow detail and highlights can be pulled up with from the Pentax Monochrome. It has a very long tonal range. So with that in mind, let's cut to the prints. This is my printer. As you can tell, I've currently got the legacy etching paper loaded up in it from the roller in the back. So it does a pretty good job of doing whatever I need it to do. The extended monochrome color range over here, or shade range, is awesome, along with the color extended. This is a 10 color ink system, and it is pigmented ink, so it should last for effectively ever. anyway, there is my Epson 900 series printer. As I said, getting ready for a show. Got some prints laid out here and doing all kinds of stuff. Here's an interesting thing. This is a total matte. It's very flat surfaced. And you can see the difference here. This is the same image printed on the Epson Legacy. You know, they are both great images. I'm not sure which paper I like more, honestly. I like the feel of this paper. This paper is just as heavy. It's just, there's no texture to it. It is absolutely smooth. I mean, I suppose you can hear that. Yeah, so anyway, I digress, and I'm good for that. Here we are. This is the full-size image. 16 by 24 print size, image size on 17 by 25 inch paper. Try to hold still here so you can see how sharp and detail rich this image is. Of these series of 5 images, this is probably my favorite one, but they're all really good. I mean, there's the small version. That is an 8 by 12 on a 9 by 13 piece of paper. I like this image too. I cannot lie about that. I mean, the blackness of those windows. I mean, to me it looks like a face. And is it a skull? I don't know. Anyway, somewhere caught between living and dying, I guess these trains are. Yeah. Not a spectacular view. We were really impressed with this one because it says Minnesota Zephyr. And my wife's from Minnesota, so it was kind of cool. Anyway, find that in Colorado, of all places. Let's see, there's the large version. And again, sharpness, detail. I love the American flag back here on the water tower alongside the tracks, you know. You can see right there, the rail yard in the background. Here's the small print, looking at it from the left side, down low. You can see the B unit back here. And it's basically an ABA unit. Yeah, and in the background, off in the distance, I found this guy. That is a brand new paint job on this unit, Rio Grande. Yeah, it was bright and shiny and maroon and gold. I can't see it here, but there was a sign in the window that talked about ready for transit. But that passenger car is not in great shape, as you could tell. There's an SD locomotive back there if you're a train aficionado. Anyway, and again, you know, the detail, the wear, the marks, some places the graffiti just speaks. I mean, you know, and it's still there at 16 by 24. Isn't that fascinating? So this is my latest series, and like I said, I'll be putting them on my website in my regular collection. So I'll be printing, I hope, a lot of these over my lifetime, and I hope a lot of people will get to enjoy them. Coming soon to the whole of these is going to be this old Buick. I got a couple of views of it. I'll do a whole series on that location because, oh, there it is. Over here. I kind of stumbled across a lot of interesting places along the way. This is the super smooth luster or matte fiber paper. This is a test print. I think it needs to be printed later. Sometimes with these tonal images, this was metallic paper, and sometimes it seems like if you print it just a little bit dark, it goes mushy, and you can go lighter and you still get the same blacks, but then these things that should be a lighter gray, more white, start coming into where they need to be. So I haven't had a chance to come back and revisit that, and there we are. But it's hard for me. I've taken pictures all my life because I enjoyed it. I've been schooled by the best in the business because I made the prints for them. Now I'm making them for me, and I really will hope that I can get them out in front of people and they'll get as much enjoyment out of them as I do. So that is such an awesome shot, though. Thank you for your time. I do hope you subscribe.